Susan Sarandon really despised her more than everyone else. Susan Abigail Tomlin was born on October 4, 1946, in New York City, where she was the first of 9 children in a big, colorful family. Lenora Marie and Philip Leslie Tomlin were her parents and gave her a great start in life. Her dad was a television producer and an advertising executive, a job that probably got Susan interested in media, creativity, and performance at a young age, maybe even setting the seeds of interest in storytelling and public life. Her mother, Lenora, was just as important in creating the family, keeping a huge family together, and stimulating intellectual curiosity. Susan had a wide cultural heritage because her ancestors came from many different places, including England, Scotland, and Ireland. As the oldest of 9 children, she had to take on a lot of responsibilities. She learnt how to lead, be patient, and be independent at a young age. These skills would help her later in her career as a fiercely independent and socially conscious actor. She graduated from Edison High School in 1964, where she excelled both academically and socially. She took part in several school activities that helped her build her confidence and communication abilities. She went to the Catholic University of America after she graduated. It is one of the most prestigious schools in the country, and she studied there from 1964 to 1968. She didn't want to be an actress at first, but her time in college opened her mind to new ideas, social movements, and creative potential. This time of learning perhaps helped her think thoroughly about the complicated roles she would later choose for her acting career. Susan got into acting practically by accident. In 1967, she married actor Chris Sarandon. She initially thought about getting in front of the camera when she went with him to a casting call for the movie Joe. She had never thought about acting as a career before, but seeing the chance in person made her want to audition. She showed a mix of bravery, insight, and a willingness to take advantage of unforeseen chances when she made the decision to take the leap. People quickly saw her skill, and she got a big supporting role in the movie. This was the start of what would become a great career in movies. In 1970, she made her first movie, Joe, in which she played Melissa, a key supporting character. The movie did well at the box office and with critics, and Susan's performance was praised for being real and having a lot of emotional depth. After Joe was a hit, she got a lot of offers from directors, and soon made a name for herself as a promising new star in Hollywood. Her early jobs in the early 1970s showed how adaptable and talented she was. They let her try out several types of characters and genres while slowly gaining a strong reputation as a dedicated and skilled actress. In 1975, she got her big break when she played Janet Weiss in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, a musical comedy horror movie that has since become a cult classic. The movie was a fun homage to horror movies from the 1950s and 1960 seconds. Susan played a sweet and innocent young woman who was thrown into a strange and surreal world. Her performance showed the perfect mix of charm, sensitivity, and comic timing, making her a well-known character in pop culture and to people all over the world. She played Catherine Alexander, a charming, trusting, and complicated young woman. In The Other Side of Midnight in 1977, the plot of the movie was about a scheming Air Force pilot who tries to kill his wife so he can get back together with his ex-girlfriend. Susan's portrayal of Catherine showed that she could bring emotional depth to melodramatic stories, which further cemented her reputation as an actress who can handle both the complexities of human emotion and the demands of mainstream cinema. Susan became more popular around the world in 1980 when she starred in the French-Canadian romantic crime drama Atlantic City. She played a young Canadian lady who was caught up in a complicated web of crime, love, and personal goals. The movie was a big hit with critics, winning several awards, and Susan's acting was well lauded. Her subtle and very human performance got her a nomination for Best Actress at the Academy Awards. This was the first of many awards she would get from the Academy, and it made her a world-class performer. She played a brave and unusual character in the romantic horror movie The Hunger, which came out in 1983 and starred Catherine Deneuve. The movie, about a love triangle between a doctor and a vampire couple, got mixed reviews at first, but over time, it became a cult classic. And Susan's brave representation of a complicated modern woman in a darkly sensual story showed that she was willing to take risks and tackle difficult subjects that went against what most people thought. In 1988, she played Sandra Boone in the comedy Sweetheart's Dance, which looked at the relationships of two quite different couples, one of whom had been married for a long time, and the other was just starting out. Susan showed off her ability to balance comedy with emotional honesty in this part. She portrayed the joys, uncertainties, and inner complexity of romantic relationships in a way that resonated with audiences. Her work alongside Gina Davis in Ridley Scott's 1991 adventure picture, Thelma and Louise, is one of the most important movies of her career. The movie, which recounts the journey of two ladies on a life-changing road trip, was a hit with both critics and audiences. Susan's performance as Louise, a powerful, independent, and ethically complicated woman, showed that she could play characters that went against social standards and looked at how women are empowered in movies. Tim Robbins directed and co-produced Dead Man Walking, in which she played Sister Helen Prejean. This was one of her best-known roles. The movie, which was based on historical events, looked at the moral and emotional issues that come up with the death penalty. Susan was praised for her compassionate, smart, and emotionally powerful portrayal, which won her the Academy Award for Best Actress. The movie's popularity made her known not only as a great actress, but also as an artist who cares profoundly about social concerns. She starred with John Cusack and Joan Cusack in the 1999 movie Cradle Will Rock. The movie is a fictionalized version of the original 1930 seconds production of the musical, The Cradle Will Rock. It gave Susan a chance to learn about history and show off her ability to play characters dealing with political, social, and artistic issues while still being true to her emotional depth and authenticity. Susan was a busy and vibrant actress in the 2000s, taking on a wide range of parts that showed off her breadth and lasting appeal. Some of her best movies from this decade are Moonlight Mile, 2002, a drama that made you think and feel, and Shall We Dance, 2004, a romantic comedy that showed off her charisma and sense of humor. Speed Racer 2008, an action-adventure movie with a lot of visual flair, and The Lovely Bones 2009, a touching adaptation of the best-selling book. Susan kept viewers interested in each of these parts with performances that showed her emotional intelligence, charm, and dedication to the craft of acting. Susan Sarandon was married to actor Chris Sarandon. Their marriage was a big part of both of their early adult lives and careers. Susan had just finished her studies at the Catholic University of America and was starting to explore the world of acting when she and her husband met in the middle of the 1960s. Chris was already making a name for himself as an actor when he and Susan met. They both loved performing and the arts, which is what brought them together. They got married in 1967, when both of them were dealing with the problems of being young adults, trying to find a balance between their employment, their artistic interests, and their growing responsibilities. Their marriage lasted until 1979, and during that time, they supported each other, grew as people, and dealt with the stress that comes with being two ambitious people working in the entertainment industry. During this period, Susan Sarandon started to make a name for herself in theater and film, slowly gaining recognition for her skills. Chris Sarandon, on the other hand, worked on his own profession and became known as a versatile and talented actor. Even though their jobs put a lot of stress on them, their marriage let them share important experiences and ideas that helped them grow as people and artists. But as the years went by, the couple started to see how their personal and professional lives were going in different directions. They decided to get a divorce in 1979 because their life objectives, priorities, and maybe even the stress of being famous were different. Their marriage didn't last forever, but it taught both Sarandon and Sarandon much about love, relationships, and being independent. Susan Sarandon has often talked about the lessons she acquired during this time and how important it is to grow and learn about yourself. She has also said that the relationship, even though it ended, was important to the success and philosophy she has now. Susan Sarandon's feelings for Julia Roberts during the making of Stepmom 1998 were very open, sharp, and unforgettable. In Hollywood, where beauty and public friendliness sometimes hide inner disputes, this was not the case. Sarandon publicly acknowledged that she hated Roberts, even though huge film productions are frequently seen as friendly and cooperative. Sarandon's comments at the time were very honest and direct. She subsequently admitted, "I really hated her more than anyone I've ever worked with." In a business where these kinds of feelings are normally hidden by flattery, diplomacy, or hazy neutrality, these statements have a lot of weight. It wasn't just a casual hatred or a professional rivalry for Sarandon. She really didn't like Roberts, and it was deep, particular, and long-lasting. It was based on a complicated mix of personal feelings, professional irritation, and the stress of working on a high-stakes Hollywood set. Before filming ever begun, there was already conflict, since Sarandon thought Roberts's approach to acting and fame was very different from her own. By the late 1990s, Sarandon was a well-known and respected actress known for her hard work, humility, and deep commitment to her craft. At the same time, Roberts was at the height of her Hollywood fame, a global superstar whose every smile and gesture drew a lot of media attention. Sarandon says that Roberts's inherent charm and seamless appeal, which won over both viewers and producers, made Sarandon feel overshadowed and even undermined at times. Sarandon said, "It was impossible not to notice how the spotlight seemed to follow her. I know she worked hard to get famous, but it felt like every scene we did was a quiet competition, even if it wasn't on purpose." This apparent imbalance, exacerbated by the strains of filming a family drama in which both actresses played crucial roles, intensified Sarandon's dissatisfaction and ultimately transformed into overt animosity. The movie, Stepmom, needed Sarandon and Roberts to show a complicated mother-daughter relationship. Roberts played the young, idealized stepmother, and Sarandon played the more experienced, emotionally complex biological mother. This tension on screen was similar to the tension off-screen between the two stars. Sarandon often said that Roberts, whether she knew it or not, made her performance less real just by being there. Sarandon noted that she had a natural sweetness and charm, and it was like a magnet that pulled people away from the emotional depth I was trying to give my character. It was tiring, and to be honest, I hated it. She told interviewers about several times when Roberts's warm, charming, and captivating attitude contrasted with her own methodical, intense, and very contemplative nature, which made her angry on set. Sarandon further stressed that the animosity wasn't caused by one specific occurrence, but by the way things changed over the course of weeks of filming. Sarandon said it wasn't about one fight, one misunderstanding, or one collision of egos. It was a slow burn, a feeling that increased as we spent time together in front of the camera. I just couldn't shake it. Her statements show a remarkable honesty in admitting that sometimes, when people in Hollywood don't get along, it's not because of rationality or fairness, but because of raw human passion, jealousy, and the fight for creative domination in a shared place. The fight also showed how the two actresses' different experiences and career paths were shaped by their different generations. Sarandon was a veteran of Hollywood problems for decades, whereas Roberts was a young meest star who was a whole new kind of celebrity. Even though they didn't get along, Sarandon did a great job on the project, and both critics and spectators loved his performance. But her memories of that time were nonetheless very honest, showing the less glamorous parts of being a superstar and making movies. Sarandon's honest confessions. "I really hated her more than anyone I've ever met in this business," give us a rare look at the complicated emotions that lie beneath the polished surface of Hollywood collaboration. They remind us that even when someone is famous, talented, and well-reviewed, personal chemistry can have a big impact on the process of